Am I live? I'm live. Okay. Happy Friday. Glad fredag. Sad news, everyone. I'm a little bit sick, so this will be a one beer stream today. My voice is almost gone. So, who's with us? Strade, Ugluk, Falvere friend, Novel Carl, half trampled by deer. Jävla nickname. Normal citizen, Tom is with us again. Sick. Skål på er. So, anyway, after many years, the Swedish military has finally decided on what they will use to replace basically most of their small arms. So we used to have, well, still have for a couple of years more, the AK-5, which is an FNFNC in 223. We got that mainly for political reasons. I spoke with the people who was part of that procurement process, and they actually wanted the Galil because that's like a refinement of it's like a variant of the Valmet, but in 223. So because of Finland reasons, they kind of wanted that, but because of socialist political reasons, Israeli firearm wasn't on the table. So that's why we got the FNFNC, also known as the AK-5. And before that, we had the AK-4, and the Home Guard still uses the AK-4, which is a G3 clone, which was produced and licensed in Sweden for a while. So let's see here. Are people joining us? Johan Persson is with us. Manga MB90, Blood Eagle, Arfakt, Noble Carl, Kalle, Falvere friend, Alfred, Mikael. Skål. God damn it, beer is good. I only had a few sips of whiskey last week, so I haven't had a beer for 2 weeks. Kalle, don't spoil my surprise. So since Kalle is already telling us about it in chat, so let's talk about what we're getting for the Swedish military. It's basically a short stroke gas piston AR-15 and AR-10. So so this version you're seeing on the picture here, this one, well, my face is in the way. So let's do it like this. So this is like I don't remember how long the barrel is, but it's like 12 inches, something like that, around those parts anyway. And it's supposed to be like a personal defense weapon, a PDW. And it's going to be used by certain rear guard troops and people like that. Most people will get something like this, an AR-10, and it's short stroke gas piston. It's M-lock. It's basically mag pulled. This is a rendering of what they're going to use. There's some promotion pictures, and no, it's hardly visible, but it's not visible. So let's go back to this one. If you can see the muzzle device, it's an AC Ultra muzzle device. That's what the Finnish people are using. It means it has the bore lock system for AC Ultra suppressors, which I've been using for ages. So I'm not sure about. I contacted some guys in the military I know, and they haven't heard anything about suppressors for the Swedish military, but I certainly hope they will get suppressors. The Finnish military are already using them. It would be ridiculous to not use suppressors. So anyway, what do we have here? So the AR-10 308 version of it, which most military personnel will use, like the Home Guard and the regular troops, it's going to come in different barrel lengths. For like a DMR purpose, the designated marksman rifle will probably have some LPVO optic. I don't know. We kind of have a fixed 4x magnification scope on the G3 version of a DMR rifle they're using now, like Flygbassjägarna, for example. So I'm just gonna guess that they're gonna use something like that for this as well, and also. The sharpshooters will actually get a really good firearm. The PSG 90, Prickskyttegevär 90, in 308 is kind of meh. But it's gonna have a 338 Lapua Magnum, this one. So when I compete against those guys in the future, they're gonna have some nice hardware. So when we calculate the risk for those risk angles for those competitions, it's gonna be for, unless they get the semi-auto, I guess, but it's gonna have to be calculated for 338. So yeah, and they're gonna replace the Barrett as well, the AG90 in the Swedish military. It's a Barrett, so the Barrett caliber 50 semi-auto. That the Swedish military was the first to actually bought it back in the early 80s or whatever, mid 80s, some I don't know. And we're gonna exchange that. So I talked to Mark Serbo and told him, you need to sell the Swedish military your shit, because it would be hilarious if my friend sold the Swedish military his 50 cals. But it's going to be another 12.7 by 99 rifle. I don't know anything about that. There's no news about that except that they're going to replace it. But this rifle would be a good pick unless they want a bolt action or something. Because it's more accurate, lighter, and all that good stuff. So, yeah. So what are you guys saying about this? Fallweather friend says that he wished his AK was on Ishmash, but no, Russia had to be retarded. Yeah, sad but true. Tom has he's got his permit to buy a Tika T3X Super Warmint 308 and a Heinel CR 308. That's good stuff. I sent in the paperwork earlier to the Swedish police, so that's good that you got your shit. Hello Enrique, Tumba Tattoo. I'll call you later, I got your SMS. Yeah, if you want to keep talking, join my Discord channel, link in the description. But I'm sick right now, so I'm not going to be around. I hope I get well tomorrow. Fallweather friend gives it a good description. The AR-15 is for people whose primary job isn't only fighting. The AR-10 is for people whose only job is fighting. Yeah, well, also if you need like a compact firearm or something. All this says, as a Finn, I'm very happy we are also replacing our assault rifles from old RK95 to the Seiko AR-15s. Yeah, but we had not that long ago, a few years ago, Finland renewed their old RK95s, painted them green, put an Asutra suppressor on and put some M-Lock stuff on it and whatnot. So yeah, but now you're getting ARs. So Piotr says he's hoping the AK-5s from the Swedish military will end up on the civilian market. That's not going to happen. Best case scenario is that they'll end up in Ukraine or something. But if I know the Swedish state and the Swedish military, they're just going to destroy them. And they're pretty much destroyed already. The barrels are shot to shit. Yeah, well, let's see what else news I found. So yeah, but it's nice to see that we're getting modern firearms. So I only brought this news up because this happened right next to where I live. So strykjärn is the Swedish word for an iron, like you iron your shirt. So 2 police officers were apparently attacked with an iron. Yeah, that happened. Apparently the 2 police officers were really hurt as well. It's they had to be driven with an ambulance to the hospital. 2 police officers against 1 person with an iron. Is it called an iron? Am I saying this wrong? And they had to go to the hospital. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. You have a gun. I don't know how this happened, but apparently it happened like very close to where I live. Whatever. This man and woman smuggled handguns, and the woman had 4 handguns in her underpants. Yeah, that shit happened. So yet again, I reiterate, the gun problem in Sweden is not legal guns. It's assholes like this smuggling 4 handguns in her underpants. They took her this time, but I'm fairly certain these people have done it before. So they hid a lot of guns, fairly sophisticated anyway, in the car. So probably not their first rodeo, but yeah, they got caught this time. Right, the world is silly. I've been talking about the hunter who, while butchering a deer or whatever, had to go drive his child somewhere and still had his Eka swing knife, which is like the basic hunting knife in Sweden after fällkniven and Mora, I guess. It's like the, yeah, whatever. And was sentenced for breaking the knife law in Sweden. But it's being appealed. So, yeah, appealed. We'll see how this bullshit ends. But it's ridiculous. Obviously, there is no intent to commit a crime. It's just our messed up knife law in Sweden that sucks. That this person, a law-abiding citizen, is getting harassed by the state for this is ridiculous. And meanwhile, actual murderers are going free. So that's all I have to say about that. I thought this was interesting. It's getting so expensive to compete now because of inflation and all of it, I guess. Expensive ammunition and whatnot. So even the people on the national level or international level has to stop competing, apparently. Learn to code, I guess. I thought this was a random news I saw. So this isn't regarding guns or anything like that. It's just the overbearing 1984 society we're going towards. So our version of the Supreme Court that isn't really a Supreme Court or a constitutional court or anything like that, basically just said that Swedish authorities can, if they want to, they can read your data no matter where you have it, if it's in a cloud storage in another country or whatever. Basically what it says is it doesn't matter where you store your data, they can always read it anyway. So if you have your data in another country, they can still access it, and with secret wiretap methods or secret means. And since our law changed, they can basically do that if they suspect you of a crime. And in the United States, they're preparing an even more ridiculous law now. It's not voted through yet, but it's like the Patriot Act on steroids and crack. And what it means is that the government in the United States can do whatever they want with whatever reason they want, for whatever. They can just access your shit whenever. And if they deem you guilty of thought crime, you get 20 years in prison and $1 million in a fine. Not even Russia is that much of an asshole. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. And this I thought was an interesting article. What it just says is what I've been saying, is that the current government is investigating how to change the gun law. But there was a little piece here that said that in 2025 they hope to have the laws in place and active. So a little bit later than my best case scenario. So I'm hoping what they're saying is January 1st, 2025, we might be able to own more guns, no 5-year licensing, and a bunch of other shit. And also removing the licensing handling from the Swedish police to a new government agency called Viltvårdsmyndighet. And this is Minister of Justice, Gunnar Strömmer. And he's the one saying this. So it's straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. So this is good news, but it's still 2 years in the future. And the first news we'll have about this is later this year, late November 23rd or something like that. We'll see. We'll still have the magazine bullshit to look forward to this summer. So no news on that, I checked. Boop. Let's look at my mug for now. What is chat saying? Has anyone heard anything about that bullpup 50 cal Barrett was developing years ago? Yeah, well, a couple of prototype was made. Nothing big. It's a collector's item now. Strade says Saco doesn't even have a factory to manufacture these carbines. Well, they need a bunch of CNC machines basically. It's like super basic everything. It's the development for that has been done 20, 30, 50 years ago. Like this gun came out in the 50s, and then they just put a piston system in it, and a lot of manufacturers have invented this wheel several times. So the only downside to this would be if HK sued them or something, which might actually happen. Moiku says Finland has still not decided what round they will use with the main assault rifle. Yeah, so Finland is still sticking with 7.62 by 39, which is kind of dated, I would say. The 223 is better than 7.62 by 39 just because of the exit velocity or muzzle velocity of the round, because 7.62 by 39 is so slow, it's going to be mess with your holdovers on different distances, and the impact energy will be shit even though it's a higher diameter round or caliber round. It's it needs to be phased out. Either you go short action like 308, so you can easily go to 6.5 Creedmoor or 9 or whatever the new American caliber is, 8.6 no, whatever it is, the new SIG caliber, or whatever you do. 6.8 Fury, yes. Yeah, the 6.8 Fury round. We'll see what happens with that. If that is the new black, the new fancy round everyone's gonna go towards. Kind of depends if the United States goes all in on that. Then it might happen. We'll see. It's a very interesting round, especially in the live variant with the steel, the steel copper casing, so you can handle the higher pressures of that round. Because then you only need like a 13-inch barrel to get like a 20-inch barrel performance out of it, because you can have such a high pressure spike in your load. So just put like pistol powder in that shit and shoot it, and you'll get a V0 this velocity the same as like a 308 or something out of a 20-inch barrel. But that shit will eat up your barrels. So even the United States military is going to use like regular velocity ammunition for all the training, and when they go live, the barrel life will just, with the real ammunition, the barrel life will just plummet. So that is a solution that works for a military. That is not a solution that will work for sport shooters. But to be fair, long-range shooters that compete, they use the same concept more or less. They have like a 6 mil. If we're talking PRS shooters. They have like a 6mm with ridiculous pressure curves, so they burn out a barrel of like 1,500 rounds or something. Brad Nothing says, my understanding is that TikTok ban law in the US would also make VPNs illegal. That is true. That is true. VPNs. You're not allowed to defend yourself against the government just listening to your shit. You're not allowed to defend yourself against hackers, basically, either. It's so stupid, it's ridiculous. But that is happening in the European Union as well. The European Union is preparing similar law. It's called the Chat Law 2.0. What they want to do is basically have a Trojan on all your devices to be able to see whatever you're typing in clear text. So if you have Signal or whatever, Signal or what's the other one called? It's called Session is good as well, because you don't need a phone number, or Telegram if you boop the encrypted button or whatever. WhatsApp, I'm not even going to count to this because they are compromised. Anyway, if you're using, for example, Signal and the new chat law comes into place, then you're fucked, because they're going to have a backdoor in. But that's the thing. They're going to be able, that's going to be hacked sooner or later, and it's just ridiculous the kind of power grab many governments are trying to do right now. Peter Sellers, what are you guys talking about? Do I need to scroll back the chat? Does it say anything of adaptability to the new US caliber 6.8? No, but the 6.8 is just a barrel swap away. I don't believe they have to do much to make it compatible with a 6.8. They might have to, but the big part about the 6.8 caliber is the cartridge itself. So I'm not familiar with what they're doing with the barrels for that, but I don't know. Göran wants to know what I think about the 6.5 Creedmoor. I really enjoy it. I have an AR-10 in 6.5 Creedmoor, the Heinel 6.5 CR. And 6.5 Creedmoor is really nice. It's super accurate because it's basically a bootleg copy of the 6.5 by 55 Norway and Sweden has enjoyed for 100 years. We made it right the first time. But the 6.5 by 55 has some drawbacks compared to the 6.5 Creedmoor. It's a larger case capacity, so it's long action, which means that you can't use the AR-10 mags because it's too large. Also, it has a taper, so mags has to have like the AK-47 angle to it if you want to have a large capacity magazine. But for bolt actions, stuff like that, it's perfect. It's perfect. When you have like max 10 round mags or whatever. So, but the 6.5 Creedmoor is perfect for semi-autos because it's more straight-walled compared to the 6.5 by 55, and it is short action, so regular, what is it, SR25 mags or whatever it is called, or the Magpul mags anyway. Those work fine, and I have tried those Lancer mags, Brownells mags, whatever, it works. So semi-autos can have some issues with 6.5 Creedmoor, mostly with pressure and how, depending on what primers you use and whatnot. So when you approach the higher pressures, you can get primer blowouts, even though you're not close to the red for the standard. But that's not really an issue. You don't need that much speed to get good accuracy, and you can since 6.5 Creedmoor compared to 6.5 by 55 has a higher pressure curve in the standard. You can use faster burning powder, so you only need like a 20-inch barrel to get the same speed at the muzzle with the same bullet as what you would get with like a 26-inch barrel for 6.5 by 55. So yeah, 6.5 Creedmoor is really nice, but there's basically no good ammunition to buy in Sweden, at least, for 6.5 Creedmoor. In the United States, it's a no-brainer, get 6.5 Creedmoor. There's factory ammo to buy. But in Sweden, you have to be a reloader to get 6.5 Creedmoor. Otherwise, you will have zero use for it. If you're leaving Sweden and just want to get in on it, get 6.5x55 and a bolt action. And if you're not reloading and you want to have an AR-10, get an AR-10 in 308 and buy factory ammunition. You have to be a reloader to use 6.5 Creedmoor, or really hate money. That's it. You really gotta hate money to buy factory ammo in 6.5 Creedmoor in Sweden. It's super expensive. Our Fox says, I tried to mount a rail on my new 1022. They put the screws in before they painted it. The screws won't budge. It probably has Loctite. Try to heat it up with a lighter or something. Then use enough force. You don't want to strip the screws. But try to heat it up. It's probably just Loctite. Charles says, what are your plans when coming over to Big Sandy? Would you be starting in Florida or just flying to Vegas? I don't know. I need to talk with Mark about that. Actually, probably should book those flight tickets and get that sorted now. Thank you for reminding me. I don't have any plans except I really want to do it. And my manager at work this week nagged me about taking out all my vacation days because I really suck at doing that. So I have like 3 weeks saved of vacation time that I need to take out, and I still have taken out vacation for going to IWA, going on trip with the missus in the summer, and going hunting, and I still have 3 weeks left. So I need to sort that out. I don't know exactly the dates and whatnot with Big Sandy. I need to talk to him about that. It would be awesome. Mark Serbo might visit me this summer again. He's going to Norway for some reason, I don't know why. But he told me that, well, you have a couple of days over, I'll drop by. So, yeah, that guy has a little bit more money than I do. He has a goddamn gun factory, madman. No, anyway. So, he might drop by. I hope he will. We'll see. Might be some Friday stream with him and me drinking beer and him getting pissed again. What else are you guys saying? Göran says, I just got to use TK 6.5 Creedmoor with a 51 centimeter barrel, and I'm loading with blah blah blah. Can't wait to burn that pipe to get a longer one. Well, do it. Long barrels for velocity is good shit. But if you're going to use it for PRS, just remember, get a bull barrel or something as well. Long barrels can lead to less precision because of the barrel harmonics. So a long hunting barrel can be kind of shit, but you need to get it stiff as well. That's one good thing about 6.5 Creedmoor, when you can get the speed out of the shorter barrel, like 20 inch. So a shorter barrel is stiffer than a longer barrel. But if you can get speed out of a shorter barrel, that's a good scenario. That's why the new Sig Fury round might be super accurate, because it has such a short barrel and still has the speed. I would really love to be able to try out that really short barrel one and get some groups with it at distance. That shit would be fabulous. Mangan VBG90 says 300 Win Mag exists. Yeah, so everyone I hunt with use 300 Win Mag in a Blazer R8, and that's for small dick reasons. Don't tell them I said this, but yeah, they even have a word for it up where I'm hunting. It's called knapse. If you have a small rifle, that means that you also have a small penis. I'm not even joking. Picture this: a moose hanging from chains from the ceiling, and me cutting off the blasted meat from it, like entrance wound, and this area around it, that's just exploded meat. That's worthless. That's 300 Win Mag for you. You do not need a 300 Win Mag. Repeat after me. No one needs a 300 Win Mag. It's expensive, it doesn't do the job better if you're target shooting, and for hunting it's overkill. Get a 6.5 by 55. Thank me later. Swede says, did you get the jab? Because as a tourist it's still required to be vaccinated for COVID enter. I think they're going to remove that in May in the United States. I read about it. I'm fairly certain that those COVID rules are going to be removed in like May or something. Hopefully. We'll see. Do you primary hunt moose? Yes, but I hunt grouse and capercaillie and stuff like that as well. Also red stag, etc. I was invited to hunt in Scotland this year. Not sure what happened with that. I need to check that out as well. What's the best barrel length for 6.5 by 55? Ridiculous barrel lengths. My first barrel for 6.5 by 55 was 710 millimeters. But that was just ridiculous. You could hardly use that rifle. It was like one of those old medieval spears or something. Nowadays I use 650 millimeters, I believe it is. That's still long. That's like, what is that? Let's check for our eventual American users. 607. Was it 650? I believe it is 650 in inches. What's that in inches? So I have a 26-inch barrel. 26-inch barrel. That's what I use. And the 26-inch barrel for 6.5 55, it is a match barrel, but that can hit shit at any distance. Like last summer I got first round hits at 1,300 meters with that barrel. That's good shit, and factory ammunition. So yeah. Strado got a new gun, and I don't get the joke, but it's bug assault. Bug assault? What is that? Our Falk has 59 vacation days left. Well, have you even taken any vacation this year? Because I have. Semi-auto AR in 300 Win Mag. Yeah, I know that exists. Wouldn't buy one. Rusty wants to know if you can buy ammunition in Sweden with a Norwegian gun license. I actually don't know. You should be able to. I think you should be able to. But I would make sure and call in advance and check with the gun store. If you're going to a competition or something, or just if you're Norwegian, just bring your own ammunition. It's probably as expensive as in Sweden. That's funny because back in the day, Norwegian people went over the border to buy shit in Sweden because we were cheaper. Now it's all the way around. Swedes go to Norway to buy shit. So you're not gonna save money probably by going to Sweden because our inflation is not fun right now. Normal Citizen says, FUD Father says 308 Win is the best dual cartridge. I sort of agree. Yeah, well, yeah, for most scenarios, 308 will do the job. It will do it. But if you're living in Sweden, the same can be said for 6.5 by 55. It has more versatility in Sweden than 308 because you can get all the hunting ammunition you want for 6.5 by 55. Same as 308, obviously. And if you want to shoot long range or compete, then buy 6.5 by 55. It has less felt recoil than 308 because more diameter heavy bullets equals more felt recoil. But it will shoot farther and hit better. because of better ballistic coefficient on the bullets, and really good match ammunition is not that expensive for 6.555 in Sweden. So if you want to do long range shooting as well, then 6.555. And if you just want to hunt, still 6.5 by 55. Unless there is some rifle you really want to use in 308, and just get that. 308 isn't bad, but if you have yeah, it's up to you basically, and your needs. What else are you guys saying here? Norman says, don't forget the price gouging from the stores. Well, that's true as well. Is Tennessee a good state for gun nuts? Yeah, everything is relative, but it's better than many others. Swede says, do you have any opinion about Kimmer 1911s? Here in the US, it seems like they have a reputation of being unreliable. A friend in Sweden had a gun store and sold them and said he never had issues. I have never fired a Kimber 1911. The only 1911s I've ever fired, okay, so I fired a few new ones, but I don't actually remember them because a friend of mine, I haven't spoken to him in a few years. I need to contact him again because that's a cool guy. He collected 1911s, but he collected 1911s from back in the day when they were new and exciting. So he has this story where he got a 1911. He's the second owner of it. The first owner fought in the Second World War with this 1911, and he bought it. He's an old guy now, so this was a long time ago. He bought it from he has dual citizenship with the United States, by the way, so he has relatives in the United States. Anyway, so he bought it from the widow of the soldier who had it. So he has all the provenance of the 1911 with letters and everything with this 1911. So I fired that and a bunch of his other collector's items. And he had this funny story he told me. So when I buy another 1911, the missus cannot see the difference between them because they all basically look the same, at least the old-timey military ones. So I just say, no, this is not a new one. It's an old one. Oh dear, he has a lot of 1911s, that guy. Nowadays he lives in the US. I don't remember exactly which state. Awesome guy. So Ademan has a FUD gun incoming. The Smith & Wesson M66 in 357 Magnum and a 2.5 inch barrel. That's cool. I have a Model 19 in 357 Magnum, but I have the regular size barrel. Yeah, I need to make some videos with my Model 19. I keep thinking I should do that, but I keep forgetting it equally fast. Brian says in Louisiana 30-06, 270 and 30-30 is the go-to rifle calibers for deer and hog. Yeah, 270 is a nice caliber. I've used that. I shot my first red stag in Scotland with it. Where was that? 260. God damn it! I need to check that. What's 270 in not stupid measurements? 260 inches in millimeters. That's 6.6. Okay, so it's a little bit larger than 6.5. It's 2.5. No. So it's basically 6.5 mil. Pretty much 6.5 mil. So 270 is like old-timey wannabe 6.5 by 55. But anyway, I shot my first red stag with one of those. Actually, a Sako in 270 with a Schmidt & Bender scope. Yeah, that was good times. All out of beer, and I'm still feeling sick, so this is a one beer stream today, people. But yeah, you guys have a good weekend, and let's celebrate our dear military finally getting their thumbs out of their asses and finally selecting a cool firearm to purchase. Okay, I'm gonna go lick my wounds and try to enjoy my weekend. See you guys.